So the weekly pixel art journey theme recently was chess piece, and initially I didn't want to make anything, but then I saw some references that really struck me. I love the amber colors here and wanted to give it a go, but I was imagining making some kind of like fantasy chess set where you have these coal bases and lava tops, but you'll have to be, the judge of how well I did. I'm starting this piece the same way that I did my pearl earring not too long ago, with a rough silhouette just to kind of get a feel for what I would be working with. And initially I started with a 64 by 64 canvas, but realized that the silhouette I made could easily be adjusted to fit in a resolution of 48 by 48. So I shaved off a few pixels, and the whole reason that I did this was because for some reason I thought that one of the resolutions for the weekly challenge was 48 by 48, but in reality, it's either a square 16, 32, or 64 pixel canvas. But it's not the end of the world. I think it's just a good reminder to maybe do some planning before you start, pushing pixels. And on that note of planning, I actually tried to plan out my colors ahead of time, and I actually got pretty close to what I ended up using. First, I picked a bright yellow, and then I hue shifted down to red by a value of maybe like 10 each time. And I also slowly turned down the brightness too. Then I just kind of color picked the colors from the little palette I made and just plopped them down wherever it felt right. But I ended up just kind of confusing myself and decided to start over. This time I completely blocked in each section with a different tone and was a little bit more methodical with my pixels. In the reference, I noticed these color transitions kind of towards the curved, thicker portions of the glass, and tried to really imagine the 3D form in my head and how the glass would curve around. And then I kind of colored accordingly. And doing this like imagination process, I don't really know what else to call it. It really helped make the coloring a lot easier to understand and apply. And as a bonus, I didn't end up being confused by what I made. These little pixels up at the top too made it look like a Dragon Ball, and that was just like a fun little thing, so I decided to keep it in. So at this point we're rounding out the piece, and one thing I've seen a lot in other people's art was some really cool reflections, and I found that to add a reflection it's easiest to copy your piece onto a new layer, flip it vertically below the original, and then just lower the opacity to maybe 20 to 50%. But something about this reflection still feels slightly off though, so if you have any tips, please let me know. And finally, here's the time lapse. This piece took me about 45 minutes to make, and when I was finished, it didn't look lava-y enough to me, if that's a word. It still looked like amber. So the next day I came back and made both a lava and an ice piece to really highlight the contrast between the two sides in chess. I'm really happy with how they turned out, and a part of me wants to make more pieces and maybe like a full chess set in maybe isometric style or something, but that'll have to wait. As always, thanks for watching.